Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Good morning to you all. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the globe. Good morning. In the U.S. or across the seas, thank you so much for being here. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, thank you for your support. Guys, it is like super early in the morning, so please excuse my voice. But there is a message that I have to get out. It's been on me kind of heavy, and God woke me up for this. All right. It's definitely not going to resonate for everyone, but it is something that some people on the path, on the journey, needs to hear. I'm going to be talking about self-forgiveness and feeling stuck on the journey, okay? Because I kind of feel like it's what's needed, right? This has to be something that somebody needs to hear if I was woken up out of my sleep to give it. So I got right on up, I brushed my teeth, and I hit record. So this path, this journey, I think a lot of people, because we've been given the misconception that this journey is all love and light, and that when you get on your path, everything is smooth sailing from there. And that couldn't be farther from the truth, okay? The aesthetic of the spiritual journey is one of love and light, but the journey is not all love and light. There are periods of darkness, okay? There are periods of darkness. There are periods that we go through where we are shedding a layer of ourselves. I remember a few years back, I went through, because we go through multiple spiritual awakenings, we go through the dark night of the soul. I remember a few years back when I really, really got serious about this path and understanding my calling. I went through something that was so painful. It literally felt like a part of me was dying off. I did not understand what was happening until after I came through it. I came to overstand that in order for me to walk in this new season, to walk in my purpose, to stand in the totality of who I am, that part of me absolutely had to die. And that process was a painful process, okay? However, had it not been for that process, had it not been for that season of darkness and pain and hurt, I would not have transformed the way that I have. You understand what I'm saying? And so, no, the journey is not all love and light. The journey is not meant to be all love and light, okay? There will be periods of darkness. There will be trials and tribulations. But those periods of darkness serve purpose, okay? Y'all excuse me for clearing my throat. Excuse me for clearing my throat. Someone, I do feel, and I felt since yesterday, that someone has like a truth that they need to speak. Someone's throat chakra, is blocked, needs to be cleared. But anyway, the those periods of darkness are necessary in order for you to come into the totality of who you are, right? In order for you to know this new version of yourself, you have to grieve the loss, the death, just like the post said, of that old version of you. Because under no circumstances can you take the old version of you into your new season, right? Can't do that. This process is painful, and I know a lot of times people in the midst of this process think that they're being spiritually attacked, or that they've been hexed. And no, it's not that. It's a part of your process, right? So no, the spiritual journey is not all love and light. All right. Again, there will be things that you have to go through, but these things are meant to build you, to build character, to refine you. You understand? As you go along the journey and trust the process, because the more you resist and the more you fight the process, the harder it is, right? So you surrender to the process, you surrender to the journey. You allow things to just flow, because you get to a point to where you understand that the Most High, the universe, source, whatever you resonate with, right? God, the creator, he makes no mistakes. He makes no mistakes. And if you look at every example that we have from earlier teachings or from the Bible, right? For those who resonate with the Bible, even if you don't read the Bible, at some point in your life, I'm sure, I'm sure you've come across Bible stories enough to know that everyone in the Bible that God used, right? They went through something, okay? And who they were in the end was not who they were in the beginning, okay? I need you to understand that when God decides to use you, it doesn't matter what your past is. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter who you have hurt. When he decides to use you, he qualifies you. The things that you have gone through in life and overcome and conquered qualifies you to do the thing that God has called you to do. Okay, that leads me into the next part of this. Forgiving yourself. You have to forgive yourself. And trust me, I know that forgiving yourself can be one of the hardest things. For me, it was the most difficult part of my journey. It took me a very long time to understand this. I held myself in bondage because for the longest time I wouldn't forgive myself. And until you forgive yourself, you can't, again, step into the totality of who you're called to be, because you're still holding all of this stuff against you, against yourself. And you're probably dealing with shame also. Forgive yourself, because I'm going to tell you, while you were going through survival mode, you didn't know better. You have to forgive yourself for not knowing better, for not making better decisions because you didn't know any better. You can't hold yourself accountable to the things that you did when you were merely trying to survive. Did I hurt people? When I was in survival mode, absolutely. I hurt people because I was a hurt individual and I didn't understand. You understand what I'm saying? Um, and I was dealing with the fact that I had hurt people. And I was ashamed of that. And I was ashamed of other things that I had done. But shame is a spirit that will literally keep you bound. And you have to shame the shame. How do you shame the shame? By not giving the spirit of shame power over you. So if you are shamed about something that you've done in your past, right? Before you allow others to tell your story, before you allow others to divulge this information, if it is a story that can be told, it's like, tell your story. Because I promise you, somebody can take from your story and use it to help themselves. Your story, your testimony can help another person. And so when I decided that shame was no longer going to stop me from aligning with my purpose and walking in my purpose, when I made that decision, shame was no longer an issue for me. Now, that's not to say that I don't still deal with shame, because, of course, on occasion, it pops back up. But then I speak to it, get out of my face. Like, I don't have anything to be ashamed of. Did I do things when I was younger? Absolutely. We all do. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Did I hurt people? Absolutely. But again, when you're in survival mode, you do shit. When you are hurting, you hurt people. The trick is, or the key is not a trick. And the key is getting to a point where you are aware and conscious of your journey. And so now, you're beginning to work on yourself. And whether this is you going to therapy or what have you, right? Whatever it takes for you, because therapy is good. And therapy is a good part of the healing journey. Therapy is a good way to get shadow work done. But it's like, as you do the shadow work, as you work on your healing and you come through these things, you raise your vibration, you're evolving, right? You can always go back if you'd like to apologize to whomever, but the person that you most owe an apology to is yourself. Yourself. A lot of times we are so much more hard on ourselves than other people. I know for me, I am harder on myself than anybody. And it wasn't until I really began to actively walk this walk and do the necessary work on myself. And I am still doing this work. You understand? Because healing is an ongoing journey. But forgiving yourself is a huge part of it. Forgiving others is a huge part of it too. But I more so want to just stress the importance of forgiving yourself. You cannot continue to hold on to the mistakes that you made in the past. This will have you in a repeated cycle. Okay? So yeah, forgive yourself for the things that you did when you didn't know any better. It is okay. It is okay, right? It may not have been okay when you did it, but on today, it's okay. Forgive yourself and let that go. Forgive yourself for hurting you and let that go, so that you can truly spread your wings and fly, right? I've said it before, I'll say it again. The things that we go through in life, these bad things, these negative things, these things that hurt, that's all dirt. I heard someone say this, a motivational speaker, and it made so much sense. The things that we go through, it is all dirt thrown on us, but it teaches us how to navigate this life. It teaches us how to handle situations. From this dirt, we're built up, right? It teaches you how to deal with situations. It builds character, okay? If you've never gone through anything, if you really truly had a life of love and light, and you've never had any darkness, you've never had any dirt thrown on you, then how do you gain the skills to navigate life? Think about the captain of a ship. You have one captain who he's never had to navigate rough seas. It's always been smooth sailing for him. And so when he comes upon a storm, he may not know how to go through it. But then there's the second captain who has had to navigate rough seas all of his life, his entire career. So when he comes upon a storm, he knows how to navigate that too. If you've never had to go through anything, you won't know how to get through it. But when you've had to endure things, you kind of learn, you pick up, experience on navigating the storms of your life. I also want you to remember that flowers do not grow with sun alone. There has to be some rain. There has to be some rain. So every day is not going to be Sunday. Every month is not going to be May. There will be periods of dryness. There will be periods of darkness. There will be periods where you feel like you're in the wilderness. But it is in these moments that God is doing his greatest work inside of you. I have come to appreciate those moments in my life. Do they feel good? Absolutely not. But I think we get to a point on the journey where we begin to recognize these periods. I'm grateful for those periods. When I look back on things in life, I'm grateful because I wouldn't be the person that I am today without those experiences, without the trauma, without the betrayal, without the violations, right? Without the hurt, without being backstabbed and, without being talked about, lied on, defamed, like without all of these things, I wouldn't be who I am today. Without all of your things, you wouldn't be the divine feminine that you are today. And for those who, like, if you're someone who feels like, I'm still trying to get to it, guess what? You'll get to it. Without the test, there is no testimony. Okay? So even if you don't feel like you are where you want to be today, you're definitely not where you once were. You understand? And so I think these things are important. It is important to give yourself credit for where you are, but acknowledging that you still have a ways to go, acknowledging that you still have work to do. We all still have work to do. So I don't know who needed to hear this on today, but I do pray that it reaches you. I do pray that it reaches you, because as I said, if it was urgent enough for me to have to record it with my groggy voice, someone definitely needed it. And I am obedient obedience before sacrifice. And so I wanted to record it and get it out. I wanted to really take my time with it, and I did. And so I hope that it blesses you. I hope that it finds you wherever you are. I hope that you all have a great day today. Until next time, peace.